Randy, in your mind, what was, I guess, a bigger issue? The turnovers, which was, I mean, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gave them a lot of points that way, or, the inability to get to the line, discrepancy in the foul calls and such.
I mean, you got to give them credit. They were locked in on the defensive end, showing a lot of help on boxes and elbows. And our ability to adjust on the fly looked good at times, and it looked really, really bad in terms of when I mentioned that, just in terms of our spacing. So, you got Vanderbilt, McDaniels, 2 long wings, being able to cover up a lot of space. And, they just stuck to a good game plan against us. They watched a lot of film. You could tell they were very communicative out there. And they had the upper hand and energy tonight, and they were playing well off it. Then down the stretch, we were trying to get some big stops, and then went to, kind of that big guy in the middle that was, pretty silent for most of the night. And then he started getting to the line, started hitting threes. And, so it was just a tale of momentum shifts in the game. And us not being able to get to the line, that was part of it, of course. I mean, you look at the foul discrepancy, it was 29-17 tonight, so that has a big part of it. They scored 26 points from the free throw line alone. So, take our lessons and learn from it and then move on.
Kyrie, it seemed like in the second half you guys got within, 2 possessions or less a couple times, and then they would go on another run. I mean, was it the energy exerted to kind of get that close that maybe caused you guys to not get it a little more closer, or something else?
This game always comes down to timely possessions. So, getting stops and, you feel the momentum shifting, and then a few foul calls, a few turnovers go the other way. And then, the game shifts again. It goes from 6-point deficit to about 15-point. And they play really fast. This is my first time playing against them. So, for me to be out there seeing these guys mature, I really relished in that moment, just seeing the way they play well off each other. And, it's good to see in the NBA. It's just like a young, talented team being able to come together, and you're going against some veterans, and you foul out 2 of our guys, and, you make things difficult. You can tell that they have a good synergy. So, and against a good team today.
James and Steve were just in here, and they're both saying that they don't feel like James is getting the benefit of the whistle the same way he can.
Give me 1 second. Babe, I'm doing my interview. I love you. I love you. I'll call you back. Really, I'm sorry, bro. James
and Steve were just saying they don't feel like he's getting the benefit of the whistle the same way he did in years past in his career. When you see him struggling offensively, or you see him frustrated a little bit that he's not getting that whistle, what can you guys do to help get him going again?
I mean, I wouldn't call it struggling. I think, teams have made adjustments. The referees have made adjustments, and now we have to make adjustments. And he goes in there very aggressively, and we want him to continue to do that. I mean, he's going to be James. Like, we know who James is. I don't, even trying to answer that, like, we know exactly who he is. So he's going to be himself, but the whistle can go either way, night to night. And depending on the crew we have, I think that also has an effect on it. But we just want to start off the game with a consistent whistle. And when he's going in there and he's, creating some contact, we feel like he deserves that respect. And I think that's probably as simple as I can put it. We know who he is. We know he gets to the free throw line. A lot of his drives downhill, he is getting fouled. And, some of them can go either way. But we just want to have a consistent whistle.
Kyrie, this was your first extended road trip. You had a lot of good games, a couple of 30-point efforts. Team finished 2-2. How do you evaluate the trip? And then how do you use these next 4 days off before the 5-game trip?
We were just talking about the locker room. We have 4 days at home. Then we're back on the road. And, it's just a lot to look forward to. First, the guys going to have to galvanize and be able to, take care of this back-to-back. And then, against 2 great teams in the league, that ultimately are going to be competing in Western Conference for a championship run. So it'll be a good test. And then in the meantime, just staying in the gym, staying in shape as best I can, just, playing with the Stay Ready group and staying engaged and doing whatever I can to stay in the rhythm.
Do you feel like you reached your level on this trip?
On this trip,
On this
level.
This 4-game trip, you look like you're back.
Yeah, I think I'm slowly crawling into my prime right now. That's me. I had to evaluate myself, but coming off a good road trip like this was a good test, and I'm just grateful that I was able to get up and down and come out of these games healthy. I feel like I'm in a better rhythm, just shape-wise, just being able to play both ends of the ball, and shots in terms of getting to my spots and knocking down some easy shots. I felt like they were good for the flow of the team. And then game to game, just making adjustments. That was new for me, and 2-2, split it. Wish we could have gone 3-1 or 4-0, but some things just happen that way.
Last one out.
Kyrie, with the fouls, your game isn't as predicated as getting to the line as much as James, but you still go to the basket a lot. Just, have you felt anything's been officiated differently this year? You're obviously there's been a rule change, but you're only 7 games in.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
I would never.
You're gonna get me in trouble. I feel like this question, if I answer, you're gonna get me in trouble. So frame it the right way, please. Please.
I feel like I'm under pressure now.
I just got fined. I'm trying to get fined again. It wasn't your fault, but dang.
Just 7 games in. Have you seen any calls been different so far? Are you still adjusting and getting acclimated back to where it's too early for you to make such a verdict?
It's too early to make a verdict.
There you go.